Hello guys, how's it going? How y'all doing? Hope y'all are doing great. I myself am doing pretty good. So we're back doing another devlog in our little minigame here, Minecraft minigame called Worth. And we're gonna dive right in. First off, we get some UI changes done. I want the mini turn availability thing to show up in the right corner of our little info box down here. I end up doing a lot of little changes in our information interface here, and I actually want to redo the entire thing as it's not super convenient at the moment. But I'm also slightly hesitant to do that, as it would be a lot of work, and I don't want to push my expectations for this game too far. It's supposed to just be a simple little mini game, and I never finish my mini game projects because I overwork myself on these little details that aren't really necessary, when I should just start with getting the game like up on its feet and moving. But I suppose it's good to hold yourself to a high standard as well, so I don't know. Anyway, the info box also needs to update when you enter and exit trap mode. I didn't realize I didn't do this before. I think it always helps to have the details always up to date, especially if you're the player. You're always going to want to know the statistics on your game piece, and if they're not updating, you might get some false information, and who knows, it could mess up your entire play. And while messing around with the trap, I saw that the warrior could actually move pretty far while he was in the trap formation mode. I felt like it was a little too far, so I went ahead and trimmed it down. A bug I pointed out at the end of my last video, which I guess I never fixed, we got to make sure that you exit trap mode forcefully when you try and move your piece. And for some reason, this was way too difficult for me to figure out. I guess just because I've been away from my own code for so long, but not to worry, we got it fixed. But once again, looking back at my footage, I still never fixed the bug where the open move spaces don't update when you enter trap mode. I still haven't updated that even after recording this. But I wrote it down on a to-do list this time, so hopefully I remember it. And I figured I should inform the player that when they try and move when they're in trap mode that they'll get kicked out, so you get a little warning text here once you enter trap mode. Also, I spelled available wrong here. Wasn't very good at vocabulary in school, or most any subject. That's why I'm here trying to be a YouTuber and make video games. They don't teach that in school. So another bug, if you have more attack advantage than whoever you're attacking has worth remaining, then you'll just end up gaining health, which is, it could be a cool idea, but it's not intended. It's not really what we prefer right now, so we just gotta get rid of that. Luckily, it wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. It was actually fairly simple, just like a couple more lines of code. Speaking of attack advantage, though, it's not really easy to know what your attack advantage is. I'm pretty sure the only way to find out is to show the scoreboard. So we're gonna set up our info box so that every time you click on one of your pieces, you can see what your team's attack advantage is. We're gonna put it up in the corner next to the little mini turn availability. Also, we need some sort of icon. So let's see. Oh, this one. There, pretty good. Let's just line them up real nice. Ah. Perfect. I noticed that it showed my attack advantage and that a mini turn was not available for the enemy piece when I clicked it. Which, while true, they don't have a mini turn available, that'll always be the case with an enemy piece that you click, so it's just kind of a bug and unnecessary, and it would be nicer just to have it gone. It would be more clean, so we're going to get rid of that. For testing purposes, as well as this needs to be in the game eventually, we're going to make an easier way to advance whose turn it is. I just set up a simple warped fungus on a stick click check and link that into a next turn function. Super simple, and I no longer have to manually type that in the chat. Back to the trap stuff, I want some sound effects to play when you enter and exit trap mode. Adding little bits of juice like that to a game always makes it more satisfying and enjoyable. I don't know how to spell satisfying either. But you guys can't see my script, so haha. Now finally, on to the fun stuff that you guys actually probably care about. We got a new piece. Didn't actually take long to do. The hardest part of making a new piece is coming up with an idea and all its statistics, but here is the Minion. Now looking at its statistics, it looks like garbage, and you may be right, but consider that it's incredibly cheap and can be used in a horde, and since they'd all be separate game pieces, they would each individually use their team's attack advantage, and basically abuse the fact that you're rewarded for being the attacker. But you only move one piece per turn. How could this ever be effective? If you want to use it as a horde, you're only going to get a move one piece per turn and wait for your other 5 friends to take their turns, in which time your enemy would probably already flee. But aha, this is a special piece. Every turn you can move one piece. However, these guys will use their mini turn to move. So per turn, you can move all the minions you want, plus one different piece that you would normally move per turn. It can't move very far, just to keep it a little in control, as I think it'll probably end up being a pretty good piece. Maybe, I'm not completely sure. But this has got me thinking about the whole game's moving system, and no one really wants to sit around and wait for 5 other people to take their turn before you get to move one piece. Even with these minions, it's still kind of boring. So I've thought maybe making all the pieces have their own mini turns, or each piece can move once per turn instead of each turn one piece. But I'm also thinking I'll probably just end up redoing the whole system as far as like turns and movement goes. Won't be happening in this video because that's a pretty big project, but I'm hoping I can work on that in the next video. Back on to smaller little things that hardly matter. This has always bothered me, and I finally got around to fixing it, making it look good. The outline of the little info boxes now matches the color of the team that you are selecting, so it's a lot easier to tell what you're looking at. I'm actually really surprised looking back just how much of this stuff is debugging and tweaking tiny little things. We got another thing where if you just scroll up in chat, you can click on an action that you're not supposed to be able to do anymore because it gives you an updated info box, but the other one's still accessible. Easy enough to fix though. We just spam the chat with some blank telraws, and now it's completely gone. Now if we click on the king and go to his info box here, we can see that there's an upgrade button next to summon. I have, however, reconsidered how we're gonna be doing this. Instead, we're gonna be making a new piece. We now have the worker. Yay! I don't know how to hype up these announcements. It's not super exciting for me. I mean, I already know that this piece is here. I just worked on it for like a couple hours. I don't know. Anyway, new piece. He's pretty cool. The first thing we're going to do while making him is get stuck right away on what noise he should make when he dies. This is the most important thing. Got to figure out. Eventually I picked something, and after spending probably like 20 minutes on it, I don't even remember what it was. I still don't know what it is. But in no time we got him set up and moving around. However, this guy is going to have a lot of function within him, and that is going to be the next rabbit hole we will fall down for a while. Now he's got 6 spaces to run, but only in a straight line with the world axis, no diagonals, basically. Just because I don't know how to make each piece's moveset unique. He isn't supposed to be for fighting, but I guess he is a little stronger than a minion. But again, the minions are more to abuse your attack advantage on an enemy rather than be a sturdy fella. I made him not able to go into trap mode, but I guess I could leave it in just so he could like hide if he's in danger. I don't know. Let me know what you think. I'm not sure. So the worker, he looks great. Smithing table on the head, and he has a build option. Ooh. It took a real long while to get this set up and working, but now he can select a structure to build, select a nearby open space, and build that structure. Now this one took a long while to set up, but the next structures won't be as hard to set up because this one I just had to go through, set up new rules and checks and make sure it's compatible with everything else in the game. But now adding more structures to that list should be pretty easy and versatile. I'm really happy I was able to get this guy set up and just like get the basics working on him. I think having him will help out the game a lot. I should try and keep it simple, but at the same time I can't help myself sometimes. Alright, the first and currently only structure is the worth cache. It doesn't do anything but exist at the moment. And again, this is a placeholder. I'm going to make a texture pack for this game, or at least that's the plan. But the idea is you will be able to collect resources like trees and rocks and whatever. It'll give you some extra worth, and you can take that and deposit it to the cache or to the king, and it'll be stored like an ender chest for the king to use as health or summoning currency, as he already does. And I'm not sure if I said this in the previous videos, but this game is supposed to be based kind of on chess and Age of Empires, but obviously with my own very funky twist on it. So this worth cache is kind of like a storage unit from Age of Empires. You collect the resources, you deposit it to said storage unit, and the king is kind of like the town center / barracks. Universally, you can take resources that were deposited at any cache or at the king or whatever. The king can take it, again, use it as his own health, or as it's been used, summoning currency. The idea is that worth is like a single universal currency and item that most anything can use. The idea is that there's only one, and that's supposed to simplify it, but also make it kind of unique. So this worth cache doesn't really have any functionality at the moment, but I'm hoping to add that once we get to resource collecting, but can't really work on either of them until I know how I'm going to work on both of them. they kind of need to work together, and I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet. So I figured I'd just hold off on that till I get to work on resource gathering. Anyway, that is what I was able to complete and get you caught up on our little mini game here. Hopefully you enjoyed the devlog. Any thoughts, comments, advice, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I love getting feedback on anything, really. Hopefully you have yourself a great rest of your day, and hopefully I see you in the next one. Take care and have a good one. Peace.